Should I tell my friend we have a kid together? I slept with my best friend while we were in high school. We always joked about how we were friends with benefits, and it was strictly just friends having fun. He didn't know at the time that I was desperately and madly in love with him. The last time we had intercourse, I did end up getting pregnant. I had our baby and put him up for adoption as we were both young, and I didn't want to obligate him to me or make him take a different path in life. These are things that he had freaked out about previously when his girlfriend had a scare. Many years later, about 6, he confessed to me that he had always loved me and that he thought he had no chance because I always said we were just FWB. Anyway, I've been in contact with our son, and he wants to know more of his dad. Our son knows that his dad doesn't know about him. I guess my question is, should I tell my best friend after all these years? I'm afraid to tell him since he has a wife and 2 kids now. Update 1: I just got off of the phone with my friend. I told him everything. Apparently, he knew that I was pregnant. My friend had let it slip one time. He thought it was his since he knew that I was only sleeping with him. He didn't know that I had the baby but said he was happy that there's a part of us together out in the world. He said he'd love to have a relationship with his son and wants me to make arrangements for all of us to meet. Thank you for all of your perspectives and advice. This went way better than I was expecting. Growing heart. Update 2: I'm flying out this weekend to speak with both my best friend and his wife. In particular, his wife wanted to speak with me, and I thought it would be best if we did it in person. This is our first time meeting. I'll keep you updated. Update 3: I met with both of them and posted update in a separate post with same title. Edit: I want to hopefully provide some clarity to the whole situation. I was a senior at 16, skipped grades, and my best friend, let's call him Bobby, was a junior. He was 17. I have known him since I was 8. My parents were not around a lot, and when they were gone, I'd stay at Bobby's house. That's why his mom and I are so close. She has been both of my parents at times. Cutting her off and limiting communication just isn't in the cards for me personally, as she is someone I consider family. After I graduated, I moved to a different country to go to college, which eventually I did after having our son. Some of the factors that played into the adoption route was fear, not having anything to provide for our son, and addiction. I still have a tendency to try to protect him when I can and left out the addiction part. Bobby was heavily using by the time I graduated and was stealing from his mom and on the streets for weeks at a time. I understand that I did take his choice away from him, I get that. Please see it from my side as well though. I was 16 and all of these things were happening. I knew that no matter what, I needed to get away from the environment to make a sound choice, and I did leave as soon as I was able to. He heard from my friend talking to someone else something like, "Did you hear she was pregnant?" He had assumed it was his and that I terminated the pregnancy, which is why he never talked to me about it. He confessed 6 years ago while he was single, and I was in a relationship, that he had always loved me. I took it as he was in love with me back then when we were teenagers. We are both married to other people and are both happy in our own marriages and lives that we have built separately. He has 1 child from before his marriage and 1 child with his wife. Plus of course our son. He has been married for 1 year and I have been married for 5 years. Bobby has been sobered for 3 years now, the longest he has been sober. Now for the comments. Commenter: did your friend know you were pregnant? Original poster: I was about 3 months pregnant when I graduated from high school and moved out of the country. So, he never knew that I was pregnant or had a kid. I did not see him for 2 years after, but we've always stayed in touch through phone calls, messages, Skype, FaceTime, snail mail. 6 years after high school he admitted to loving me. It was important to me because I was protecting a friendship, and I think if I had known that he loved me then, I would have told him when I was pregnant. 12 years after having our child he is now married with kids. I'm married too. I do know that his wife doesn't like when we are in contact with each other, and I try to respect that boundary. Commenter: did you have a relationship with your son? Original poster: his parents and I have a really good relationship. They know everything and want me to have a relationship with my son. I run everything by them first to make sure they're comfortable with it. They couldn't have kids of their own and I cannot have kids now after my birth to him. I am very blessed that they chose my son and that I have such amazing people in my life. They're a dream come true given all the circumstances. They choose to let me have a relationship with my son, and I know it's because of their choice that I've had every opportunity in my life to be a mom, to have a career, to be able to provide for my son. I don't ever lose sight of the power their choice has. Commenter: do you still have feelings for your friend? Original poster: I feel like we've been through a lot together and I'm thankful to have him as a friend, but I don't still have the feelings I once had for him. The feelings have evolved and changed into just always hoping for the best for him and continued sobriety. Our conversations now consist of us telling each other miss you, hope everything is well, how is the family, etc. I feel like people blew the dynamics of our friendship now way out of proportion. Again, as I've said many times in this thread, I have moved on and have had many years to do so. I'm happily married and have been for 5 years. I don't take my commitment to my husband lightly, nor would I ever do anything to jeopardize the life we have built together. Update: for my talk with my best friend's wife Wendy was very enlightening. I did not know so much had not been shared with Wendy from my best friend Bobby. Wendy and I talked for hours both about mine and Bobby's past as well as the current situation. Things Wendy was unaware of: 1. I've been married for 5 years. 2. I've known Bobby and his mom since I was 8. 3. That I practically had lived with Bobby and his mom for 8 years. 4. My parents are not in the picture and his mom is the closest thing that I have to a mom. 5. That I'm not his other son's biological mom like she had been led to believe. The last one literally had me in a spiral, and there is so much to unpack there. I'm not sure why she was led to believe that, but when I asked questions about it, she said that's just what she's been told by other people in the family. After our private talk, our husbands joined us, and I shared all of the whys and reasoning behind the decision that was made. Bobby said that if I had come to him back then and told him, he most likely would have asked me to terminate or opt out of being involved given the severity of his addiction and his mental state. He said he was happy that he's now in a place to be able to have a stable relationship with our son if our son wants to have that relationship with him. He also said that he understands why I made the decisions I made because he was not in a good place, we were not in a place where we could have raised a child, and that it wasn't an environment to be in for both a child and myself. Again, I'm just so thankful that despite all the years and things we have been through that he is able to understand the choice that was made, and I'm so thankful that now he is sober and in a healthy mindset. We all set some boundaries and have discussed keeping communication via text so we can all see what is being said. Wendy and I both felt that it was not necessary for Bobby and me to meet together with our son unless he has asked for that specifically, like if he has questions for both of us. In my opinion, Wendy was very understanding, especially after everything she learned from our conversation prior to this. Wendy and I exchanged numbers and will remain in contact. Now for the comments. Commenter: does Bobby's second child think you are his mom? Original poster: I don't think so. My husband and I are his godparents and he lived with us for about a year when he was 2, but I don't think B would tell his son that I'm his mom, or at least I would hope not. Yes, the child's birth mother is completely absent from his life. She cheated, then left everything behind including their son. When Bobby went back into rehab, my husband and I took care of their son. I did get some clarity. She said that both Bobby's half-siblings had mentioned that I was his son's mom because of pictures they had seen with us together, and that they had assumed that I was his mother. Apparently when Bobby is asked about his son's birth mom, he tells everyone he doesn't want to talk about it. So, from what I can gather is that since he doesn't talk about it and there are only pictures of me with him as a baby, there was an assumption made from a few parties. Bobby is now opening up more to Wendy about it. Commenter: can you provide us with more details on your son's adoptive parents and how it came to having a great relationship with them? Original poster: it's a lot to put into a few posts. There are so many different dynamics that I've been trying to explain. My son's adoptive parents are close to me, and I have known them forever. At the time, they were my parents' closest friends. When I was not living with B's mom, I was living with them. Around the time of my pregnancy and even before, they had struggled with getting pregnant. When I found out I was pregnant and had made the decision, I knew they'd be the perfect family in the way they loved and cared for me even when I wasn't theirs to love and care for. Once I decided the path I was taking and they were on board, they were asked to relocate for work, and I joined them in their relocation. When I say I'm truly blessed for my son's adoptive parents, I truly mean it because I know all the stars in the universe aligned for everything to happen the way it did. Honestly, growing heart, they're the most amazing humans. I could go on forever about how selfless, caring, and generous they are. They're literal saints who walk the earth. I will forever be in awe of them, and my son knows just how I feel about his parents.